Welcome to According to Kemboy. This is a channel where I express my opinions on different topics, and feel free to support the channel by subscribing. I hope that this video brings some value to you, and um, if you are returning, thank you and for supporting the channel. And of course, I would appreciate what you think about this in the comment section. So today we're talking about the reasons why the value of goods will always keep rising. you know there's this hope that we always have about the cost of products at some point coming down, which I don't think is going to happen because of these three reasons, right? And today we're going to discuss those three reasons. So the first reason is, you see, we're living in a system which is designed for the value of goods to and services to always rise. It's called inflation. And essentially, what that means is governments are printing out money. You know, uh, if you have 10,000 shillings today in your bank account, there is a high probability that after 5 years, the purchasing power of your 10,000 shillings will not be the same. It will uh, purchase less, and that is as a result of the printing money by the governments. Governments keep printing money, and that reduces, because now if there is a lot of circulation of money in the economy, that brings down the purchasing power of money and the value of money. And as a result of that, you find that businesses tend to increase their prices, of goods and services to just protect themselves, because in most cases businesses don't really incur the cost of products and services. They normally tend to pass it down to the consumers, you and me. Okay, so that's one of the reasons, the fact that governments will always keep printing out money. And reason number two is the decrease in purchasing power of money. That is as a result of point one, which is now the governments always printing out money. So if governments keep printing out money, then your money will not grow. It will always reduce in value. And one of the solutions to this is to always keep investing. Always keep investing. If you are storing, instead of keeping money in the bank where it does not generate anything, you can explore, some avenues, some investing avenues like money market funds and other investment options available. Because now, as long as your money is sitting in the bank, it is going to definitely lose its purchasing power. So that's one of the ways to protect yourself from that loss in value of your money, right? Well, another someone can say that we are supposed to work on deflating. In most cases, deflation is rarely happening. Okay, so right now, what governments do, in most cases is, just reduce the printing power of money to contain the inflation rates, right? For example, in Kenya, today is 2025. Today, I think the inflation rate is about 5%, but last year I think it was 10%, if I'm not wrong. I stand corrected. Okay, so but essentially it has reduced. So government can only contain, but in most cases, deflation is very rare. You find that inflation is what is happening. That means that your money is losing, but its purchasing power, right? Then another reason is goods and services. In most cases, they react to global pressures. For example, you see, when there are wars around the globe, and a good example is the oil prices. When uh, Ukraine and Russia fought, right? In Kenya, oil prices skyrocketed. It was during Uhuru's time, I remember. So, in fact, the president was complaining, so telling the citizens not to blame the fact that oil prices are going up on him because he did not start the Ukraine-Russia war. But so essentially, that's what happened at that particular time. And so you find that prices of goods and services, they sometimes depend on global issues, which us the locals cannot really have control over. So, and also there's this war that recently ended, the one with between Iran and Israel, right? I think it was like a week or 2 weeks war. And at some point, there were some rumors going around that Iran was threatening, to close some strait, in some sea path where boats tend to carry oil. And in some cases, if that was that could happen, if that could happen, the prices of commodities could skyrocket, especially in Kenya, because Kenya does not produce oil locally. So we always have to depend on others. So in most cases, you find that goods and services will always go up. And if petrol increases, that means that most prices of other goods, they tend to follow the trend because it affects other prices. So that's another reason. And I think also during that time of Ukraine and Russia war, the prices of grains, because Kenya, you used to import a lot of grain. Talk of cereals from Ukraine. And now, because now war is happening, now there's no production of such cereals. So that means that prices went up for an importing country like us, Kenya. And global issues, whether we like it or not, will always affect the cost of prices and goods. So, so finally, what does that mean to us now? It means that if we are sitting here always expecting that and believing that prices at some of goods and services at some point are going to come down, we are lying to ourselves. In most cases, they are not coming down. Okay? So we just have to find ways to deal with inflation and ways to, go around the fact that our governments will always keep printing money, and the fact that our money will always lose its purchasing power, and ways to deal with that. A good example is, always making sure that your money returns a profit, above the inflation rate. If the inflation rate is 5%, at least make sure that your money, when you're saving it or storing it somewhere, it always returns a value, that interest rate of something above that 5%, above the inflation rate of that particular time, that particular year. That way, your money will always retain its value or even gain some profits. Because if the inflation rate is 5% and your money is returning 10% interest rate, that means that you have a profit of 5%. Yeah. And I think it's just something that we need to stop the false hope. What do you think? Please leave your comments in the comment section. I'll always read your comments, and I'll appreciate if you support this channel. I'll be dropping videos now going forward, and I'll be consistent. And of course, I'll appreciate your support. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.